Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. I'm Josh Shevanoff. He's Angel Ortega. I'm being completely real with you guys. If you guys are not giant UFC fans, or this is going to be a very UFC heavy podcast because, last time we recorded was a Wednesday, I believe, of last week. So we were not able to recap the following card, and then, we ended up missing this one because it was actually on a Friday for the first time in like forever. And so we're going to have to recap the two cards and then give you our prediction for next week's UFC Singapore. Start off, UFC Tampa out of Tampa, Florida. Whenever we talked about it last, we were completely unsure of the main event. There were all the issues with Joanna making weight and Michelle not gonna take like another fight or whatever. Anyways, that ended up getting solved. Joanna just said, I'm gonna try and make the weight, and she actually did at like 115.5. Looked pretty good doing it. And then she ended up going out there, and I want to say completely dominating the fight. Obviously, Michelle Washington, she had some moments. She took one round on the Georgia scorecard, which I thought was pretty ridiculous. But hey, man, I'm not really in the mood to talk about bad judging. For Rose, it was a vintage performance by Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She looked phenomenal. Her stand-up, we forget just how good Joanna is because she's had some weird fights recently. Obviously she got knocked out by Rose and then had a really close second fight with Rose. And then she beat Tisha Torres, who's right now struggling a lot. And then she went up to 125 to face Valentina Shevchenko. And then, obviously the fight against Waterston, which had all the weight cutting stuff. So we ultimately forget just how damn good she can be, and she showed that in spades in her 5-round win. Co-main event, Cub Swanson versus Kron Gracie. This ended up being the fight of the night, and I thought it was a banger. Kron Gracie, I'll give him a lot of credit. I picked him to win, but I never thought he would keep the fight on the feet. I thought that maybe, just maybe, since he's training in MMA, he'd work on some takedowns. Apparently not. The most he got was like a trip that took the both of them to the ground, but even then he couldn't get, Cub. Cub Swanson looked phenomenal. It was a vintage performance by him on the feet. Whenever Cub Swanson gets going, he's going. Like that first round he was completely dominating, and he looked really damn good in this one. I'm really happy for him. I love Cub Swanson. His fights are always generally really, really good, and he's had a really rough streak, He fought Brian Ortega after like a 4 or 5 fight winning streak. If he won that one, he would have got a title shot. I said he should have gotten a title shot before that because, it was supposed to be Edgar versus Holloway, and then, Edgar dropped out. This is like 2 years ago, I think. And they are like, okay, we can give the fight to Jose Aldo, who's coming off a loss to Holloway, or we can give it to Cub Swanson on a 5-fight winning streak. And they gave it to Jose Aldo for some reason. Whatever. Still angry about it. Cause Cub Swanson's never gonna get a UFC title shot. That's just the truth. And then he lost to Edgar, in a very boring fight. Got submitted by Renato Moicano, and then lost a close one to Shane Burgos that I thought he won. But yeah, it was good to see him get it back on the board. And, I'm going to give a quick spotlight to the coolest knockout of the year, Nico Price, who every single one of his UFC fights have ended via finish, knocking out James Vick in the first round, 144, with an up kick. This dude has knocked out 2 people off of his back now in the UFC, which I'm pretty sure is a record. He knocked out Randy Brown with hammer fists from the bottom, and he knocked out James Vick with an up kick. Vick's 4th loss, I think, in a row. Nico Price is the most entertaining man in the UFC. Angel, I understand it's a bit late now, so if you can give us your thoughts on UFC Tampa, if you saw any of it, and also because, it happened 2 weeks ago, or a week ago.
Oh man, dude. I didn't get to watch the main event. I didn't get to watch the card at all. I got to work pretty late when that happened. Because the main card started at 7, and by that point, I got out, and all the results were made, and I was like, oh shit, you want to fight? I didn't even know she had made, weight, and then I saw Kron lost, and I was like, well, there goes that. And then I go on Twitter and I see this fucking up kick knockout, on the back. So, I mean, that was kind of my night when it came to that. Just full of fucking surprises at the end when it came to all the card. And a lot of love for Violent Bob Ross. I saw that. I don't know what it was all about, but he got a lot of love on Twitter.
Violent Bob Ross won that fight, in my opinion.
Well, there you go. Overturn that shit.
Overturn it. We'll talk about overturning fights in a minute. Foreshadowing.
Well, there you go. But yeah, as far as that, I didn't get to see much. Just a couple things I read, a couple things I saw. Not too much.
Well, I guess that kind of moves us along to UFC Boston, which was last night. If you guys follow our Twitter account, we gave our predictions there, so that we can just kind of have them on record. Because we like to keep up standard with that type of thing. Dominic Reyes taking on Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman moving up from middleweight. Dominic Reyes obviously undefeated, I believe 10-0 or 11-0 at the time. The dude is really, really good. I think we should talk about that. This kid is really, really good. He has a lot of potential. He's one of the bigger 205ers. I think the first time I saw him, he fought in Oklahoma City. I don't remember who he was fighting against. I mean, I can remember who. I think it was Jeremy Kimball. But regardless, I saw him like, this dude could be a problem, like a couple years down the road. Because he has the size, he has the reach. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He has a lot of knockout power. He's really, really good. And we saw it again tonight. Like, he has wins. His last 4 fights are like an incredible spree of names. Jared Cannonier, knockout. Ovince St. Preux, dominating win. Volkan Ozdemir, I thought Volkan won that fight, but regardless, that was still a really, really close one. I don't have a problem with him winning it. And then a knockout win over Chris Weidman. This kid's amazing. A first-round knockout. Weidman shot in for the takedown. He couldn't really get it. I think he got him down at one point, but he couldn't keep him down. And Dominic Reyes just got up, and I think Weidman threw like a hook or something, and he countered with like a right hand, and it was like right on the money. He dropped and followed with some hammer fists, and that was all she wrote. Chris Weidman is now lost 5 of his last 6. Definitely heartbreaking for you're a Chris Weidman fan, because ever since that fight against Luke Rockhold, man, he's been like on the downslope, and all of those have been knockouts too, which is, I mean, the Gegard Mousasi one was controversial, but still, just absolutely heartbreaking for a Chris Weidman fan. But Dominic Reyes, I think he's next for John Jones. I don't know how you could give that fight to anyone else. I thought they were going to give it to Jan Łachowicz, but he ended up getting a fight against Jacare, another middleweight who's moving up. All the old middleweights are moving up to 205. Let's hope that he does better than Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman does. Regardless, I think Dominic Reyes is next for Johnny Bones, probably next year. I want to talk about most of this main card because, like, I'll be honest with you guys, I was working, so I missed the prelims, and I obviously know there were a couple good fights. Molly McCann got a win. Charles Rosa did. Randy Costa, the hometown boy. Kevin Holland lost. Definitely sad, but, he'll come back, I'm sure. But the co-main event was a heated one. Yair Rodriguez versus Jeremy Stephens. Listen, this fight was awesome. The first round was pretty back and forth. I think Yair definitely took it. The second round, though, right at the start, Yair lands a sickening, kick to the body of Stephens. Stephens goes down. He falls up with a lot of ground and pound. And it's looking like this one might get stopped, or at the very least, this round will be a 10-8. And then at the end of the round, Jeremy Stephens, I think in the last minute, he recovers. He starts landing a flurry of his own. Looks like he hurts Yair up against the fence. And he was doing really, really well there, too. So that second round was phenomenal. One of my favorite rounds of the year, honestly. And then we go to round 3, where Stephens just takes Yair down. I think he took him down twice. In the last 3 minutes, I think, were Stephens on top, landing elbows, but you could tell he was gassed as well. They were both really, really tired. So he couldn't get the finish, but still, that was a really, really fun fight. I'll admit, I was wrong. I thought Stephens was going to get the win, but ultimately it was Yair to get the close decision win. Greg Hardy beat Ben Sassoli. This is one of my favorite stories of the year so far. So Greg Hardy's fighting Ben Sassoli. If you don't know who Ben Sassoli is, I don't blame you. He's some short Australian guy with a mullet. And he's, like, they're fighting. And Greg Hardy's dominating, man. Like, Ben Sassoli lands probably, I'm gonna guess around 20 punches the whole fight. Greg Hardy's movement is great. He's landing a lot of leg kicks. He's being very, very smart. He's not just throwing a flurry to get the finish, but he's throwing, like, his right hands are so quick, man. This guy has a lot of potential. And, like, you see him developing fight to fight to fight, and he's looking a lot better. I think this is definitely his best performance so far. Like, the other ones are quick knockouts, so this one was just a dominating performance, 30-27 across the board. Not a single moment for Ben Sassoli. In between round 2 and 3, Greg Hardy goes to his corner, and he's winded. You know, he's a heavyweight, and he also has asthma. If you guys don't know, he actually has asthma. In the NFL, he had to use his inhaler to play. He asks his coach if he can use his inhaler. Coach asks a commission member. Commission member says yes. He takes his inhaler, goes into round 3, dominates it more, ends up getting the decision win. About an hour later, they overturn the fight because I guess Greg Hardy's coach asked the wrong commission member who did not know if it was okay, and they took the win away from him. And I understand a lot of people are like, yeah, good, fuck Greg Hardy. And I'm like, okay, fine. I kind of like feel for him because he did nothing wrong here. They said he could do it. The commission member said he could do it, but that one wasn't informed enough. So they took the win away. I think if anything, punish the commission member who said yes. You like suspend that guy or something. I don't know. Re-educate them on the rules, but I don't think you should take that win away from Greg Hardy. Plus, it's not even. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's a complicated issue. But I think, regardless, he should have won that fight, and he did win that fight. So he should be 6-1, but now he's not. He's 5-1-1. Real quick, last results. Joe Lozon, one of my favorite fighters of all time. I want to say childhood fighter because I saw him on Painkiller Already podcast years ago because he's friends with the host. And I followed that. It was like right around the time of UFC 181, 182, whenever Jones fought Cormier for the first time. And they were talking about it all together, and I was like, oh man, that sounds awesome. I should watch that fight. Watch that fight. Got hooked on MMA forever. So thanks to Joe Lozon, and I interviewed him for a school project in my sophomore year in high school, because for like journalism class for my final ever, I did a thing about the rise of MMA. And he was one of the only 2 athletes to give me the time of day. And I messaged a lot, but nobody ever got back to me. Probably because I was a high schooler doing a project. But Joe Lozon was one of the 2, got the knockout win, and maybe retiring. We don't know about that one. Lost his last 3 before this, but it was a vintage Lozon performance. And then finally, Macy Barber, the 20-year-old, looking to become the youngest UFC champion ever, defeating Jillian Robertson via KO in the first round. Her nickname is the Future. I think the Future is now. I think she should get a title shot, if not next, after her next fight. That's a lot to take in, but I understand, Angel, I know you've not seen the entire main card. I think you only saw the co-main and the main, if I remember correctly, but if so, what did you think?
Dude, it was good for what it was. It was good. UFC's done a really good job this year of having entertaining co-mains and mains throughout the year. Obviously, I have my opinion about some of the fights, but you know, it is what it is. Obviously, it was a fast turnaround for Yair and Jeremy after what happened at Mexico. They were able to, you know, get that going real quick. It was a lot quicker than I thought it was. I thought it would be a while, maybe even like next year or some point in December before they set up the fight. But no, UFC's like, fuck that, man. We need this shit now. And yeah, it happened real quick, man. You know, it was 3 rounds, 5 rounds. It's, who knows what happens, I think Jeremy said if it's 5 rounds, it's my fight. If it's 3, it's his, something like that. Either way, though, I think a 5-round fight would have been good no matter who won. And then, as it was, man, I missed part of the first, I saw some of the first round, because at that point I was on my way home. They were walking out. I turned it off, got inside, ate quickly, kind of got myself settled in, and turned it back on. The second round, at that point, dude, it was, the leg kicks were coming in, the variety that Yair has were being thrown. And then, man, that shit went to the ground, and the pounding started happening. And I for a second, I thought it was going to get stopped. But the ref saw that he was, moving, trying to figure something out, just trying to grab a leg, something. He was still fighting for it. He was still in the fight. So shout out to the ref for still giving him a chance, because I'm sure people would have been very mad about that if he didn't. And then at the same time, if he did and didn't, I'm sure there's people who are mad on both ends. But overall, man, I thought it was a well-deserved win. The second and then the third round, Jeremy just pulled some stuff together. Looked good there in the end. Had Yair on the ground constantly, pounding him. Yair just had to survive at that point. And him coming out with that win, man, he looked good. And then, dude, it didn't even feel like a minute. But for the Dominic Reyes fight, Chris Weidman fight, man, I swear, I looked away, I looked back, and it's over. I could have sworn it was like that. I don't know why, but it felt like that. It went from like, okay, and then bam, he's on the ground, and he's getting pounded, and it just gets stopped. It was insane. It felt so much quicker. You said it felt much longer. I felt like it was quick. I felt like I looked away, I looked back, and I'm like, oh shit, it's been like 2 milliseconds, and it was over. Heartbreaking defeat for Chris Weidman. Good win for Dominic. Last night I was looking at those power rankings, trying to see who's up next, for Johnny. And John Jones, dude. I mean, I think it's time for another opponent at the top. Everybody else is kind of lost to John not too long ago, or coming off the loss near the top. Unless they want Dom to fight someone else before he gets that Jones fight. I guess they can do that, but it seems like he's the one next in line, and like you said, I think that'll happen next year, hopefully at some point.
Yeah, I really quick want to say about the main event. Like I said, it felt like 20 minutes, because it felt like Chris Weidman was in on a takedown for like a long time, and he couldn't get it, and they were grappling for a bit, and the second they separated, he got knocked out. So it left me wanting more, but like at the same time, I'm like, bro, it felt like that entire fight was grappling, and the one punch he threw, he got knocked out. So it was definitely weird. But I'll admit, I wasn't paying that close of attention.
Like I told you, I looked away, I looked back, so.
He made the look away, he looked back, and it was over.
Exactly.
Okay, so on to next week's card. This one's going to be a Saturday morning, so I know for a fact we're not going to talk about this one in time. This one is UFC Singapore. I don't even think I'll be up for this one. I'm getting really... Listen, I understand the UFC wants to grow their own stuff overseas or far away, and that's cool. That's tight. But bro,
we're not waking up at 7 in the morning.
7? The main card starts at 5, my man.
What? This time it says 7 here. Google's fucking me over.
Wait, let me see this. What is 2 a.m. PDT? Let me just see that right now on the podcast. Let's see what that is. That would be 4 a.m. our time.
Oh, no. Wait, main card or prelim? Prelim says
Prelims.
4. Okay,
Prelims
main
4.
card starts at 7.
Alright, 7, that's not bad, actually. That's not bad. I'll actually probably do that then.
Alright, maybe I'll make an effort, too.
Maybe. But, anyways, the main event is the only real super relevant fight. There's 2 other fights I want to talk about real quick. Actually, maybe 3, but Damian Maia, Ben Askren. This is the battle of the greatest UFC grapplers at the time, but at this time, you know what I mean? Ben Askren is obviously a former NCAA champion, ONE FC champion, Bellator champion, taking on Damian Maia, who obviously know as the Brazilian backpack. Dude is probably the greatest UFC grappler of all time. He's phenomenal. He's great. And we obviously know all of his accomplishments, just how damn good he is. He's 41 now. He's getting up there in age, but still has 2 wins in a row. That's after losing 3 really, he had a 5-fight streak of Carlos Condit, Jorge Masvidal, Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. And that is probably one of the hardest streaks you're ever going to find. He won 2 of those, obviously against Condit and Masvidal. Lost to Woodley, Covington, and Usman. He's rebounded though, 2 wins. Anthony Rocco Martin, Lyman Good, Ben Askren. Obviously we know he's 1-1 in the UFC, but he's had 2 fights and has had 1 highlight out of them. He has 2 UFC fights and he's gotten the shit kicked out of him in both, and yet he somehow won them. Which I think is really, really funny. He fought Robbie Lawler, obviously, and he got dominated, but he ended up getting the submission out of nowhere, which is very controversial. And then he ended up getting knocked out in 5 seconds by Jorge Masvidal. Regardless, he's still 19-1, coming back. I have no idea how this fight's gonna go. I've been back and forth this entire time. However, I think it's 5 rounds, and I think if Ben can get out of that first round, I think he'll be okay. Generally, when it comes to a really strong wrestler versus a really, really strong jiu-jitsu guy, I always pick the wrestler. There's no real reason behind this. I think if they're younger, I'll probably pick the grappler. There's just no real reason behind this, but in my own personal experience, I've seen the wrestlers do way better than the jiu-jitsu guys because they know more positions. They may not know all the submissions, but they know top pressure, and top pressure is fucking key in MMA. And I think Ben Askren's going to use that top pressure. He's going to, if he gets out of that first round, because Damian Maia, for all of his, accomplishments in grappling, he's a legitimate striker too, and people forget that. He bloodied up Colby Covington in that first round. He looked good against Usman in the first round. He looked good against Woodley in the first round. The first round is Damian Maia's like ultimate wheelhouse. If he can survive that first round, I'll take Ben Askren, especially in a 5-round fight. I think I'm gonna take Askren via very boring decision or a late finish. And a couple of the fights I'm gonna talk about: Michael Johnson, Stevie Ray. Mike Johnson, moving up to 155. I love Michael Johnson. On his greatest day, he could be UFC champion. On his worst, he gets in a close fight with Artem Lobov. It's true though. Regardless, he did beat Lobov, beat Andre Fili, got knocked out by Josh Emmett in a fight that he was dominating in classic Michael Johnson fashion. He was dominating Josh Emmett, and then he got knocked out in the final minute of that fight, which was heartbreaking. But regardless, he's moving up to 155 after a 4-fight stint at 145. Stevie Ray, pretty decent guy. Like, he's obviously not the greatest. I know he wins over Joe Lozon. I think he has a win. There's like another really good name that he has on there. I think it might be Jim Miller, but I don't know. No, it's Ross Pearson. He beat Ross Pearson. Last time I got knocked out by Leandro Santos. I'm going to take Mike Johnson here. I think that's going to be a really fun fight. Frank Camacho, Beneil Dariush. That one's a banger. That is a spicy fight, my friends. Frank Camacho, one of the most entertaining UFC fighters, like, right now. At 155, taking on Beneil Dariush. Beneil, always a really fun guy. He has that awesome fighting with Barboza, with Evan Dunham, with Alexander Hernandez, James Vick, Chiesa. His fight with Michael Johnson was cool. And obviously Frank Camacho, like, I think he has like 5 or 6 fights in UFC, and I think like 5 of them, never mind. He's 5 UFC fights, 4 are fight of the night. I'm going to take Camacho and a close win there. And the last one I want to talk about, Randa Marcos, Ashley Yoder. These are 2, I believe, ranked fighters at strawweight. And I'm only talking about this because I'm going to make the judgment of Randa Marcos wins and loses. She wins one fight and she'll lose the next. She wins a fight and she'll lose the next. She lost last time out to Claudia Gadelha. I'm going to take her to beat Ashley Yoder. Angel, do you have any prediction for the main event at UFC Singapore?
Dude, Ben Askren's about to be on some Habib-type performance for those 5 rounds, dude. Laying on that man, instant takedown every round. Well, I don't know if it'll be instant takedown every round, but you know what I mean. He's about to be on some Habib-type shit, though, to win the fight, though, for sure. To be boring as fuck. I imagine it to be a boring. Watch this be proven wrong, though. Watch this be proven wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, but watch this be proven wrong. But for sure, he's probably gonna. I have bet in that. Also, want to give a quick shout out to the guys in the prelim card that I like. My boy Jeff. They fixed his picture again. No longer a random black woman. Good for him for first fight of the night. Good luck to him. I hope he does well. And also the boy Sergey Pavlovich. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
I hope so. Fighting the man Maurice Green, which I also like. But good luck to the boy Sergey. I hope he does well in that. Just want to give those guys shout outs. Those are just guys that I like watching and wish they do well. But yeah, man, I think Ben's gonna win in some Habib type fashion, dude. Very slow, boring. People are gonna hate it. There's gonna be some boos, maybe. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll boo Korea. I think people in Korea will be very kind about it. But either way, dude, it's gonna be some slow ass shit. I just know.
Yeah, I don't think I actually love Habib's fighting style. I think Habib is really, really entertaining. But something people don't really know. Ben Askren's last 3 fights have been the most entertaining fights of his career. And that's not a bad thing. However, he's a wrestler who does not throw a lot of ground and pound. He never sacrifices position. And that's cool. That's aight, man. I think, like, I love seeing people who are great at their craft, but he's not the most entertaining.
He's on some Floyd shit, dude.
That's actually a really good, analogy.
No, because that's what it is. Because I wouldn't say Habib's on some Floyd shit, because Habib sometimes stands up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Ben's on that Floyd shit where he'll be like, I'm not gonna get hurt, but I'll do what I have to do to win.
Yeah, he's just gonna do whatever he has to win. He doesn't really care about being the most entertaining guy. That's not Ben Askren.
So there you go. And he doesn't give a fuck about what anybody says at top.
Yeah, I love Ben Askren. I love the build, the fights. Like, he's a super entertaining guy. Like, he reminds me of like a WWE heel who's like just cheesy. You know what I mean?
For sure.
He's like Chael Sonnen to me, except like way more based in reality.
Oh, actually is like an actual human being who could live in this realm.
Yeah, except Ben Askren was like actually undefeated. You know, actually he's not undefeated anymore. He's 19-1. Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen's like 47-0, undefeated 2-weight world champion, retired because nobody else could beat him.
What a guy.
What a guy. He made Tito Ortiz tap. True story.
There you go. We got it on record.
Got it on record. Greatest fight of all time is happening tonight. Bare Knuckle FC8. I am an unabashed Bare Knuckle FC fan. To me, it's like Taco Bell. I think I've made this equation before, actually. Some like analogy before. It's like Taco Bell. You know it's shit for you. Know it's terrible. I don't want people to catch me eating it, but I'll be goddamned if I don't love a quesarito every once in a while. Because Bare Knuckle FC is like so trashy. Like, it's just, I feel like disgusted watching it, but at the same time, and like their owner is like a really kind of, he's a controversial guy, but like I watch it and I'm like, god damn, this is fun. Like, this is, like, it's, you know what, people are like, it's so sad. This is where fighters, like MMA fighters go to like retire, and it's retirement home and all that. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Gabriel Gonzaga, Bigfoot Silva is going to be a banger in Bare Knuckle. I don't care what anybody says. Artem Lobov versus Jason Knight too. That's happening. I'm excited for that.
That shit was a war.
That shit was a war. I loved Artem Lobov versus Paulie Malignaggi. All right. I love this promotion for all of its faults. I love it for all of the wrong reasons. It's like whenever Bellator does like a old man event. You know what I mean? Like, they had a Ken Shamrock versus Hoist Gracie. Whenever they do also controversial events or whatever. This is like if Golden Boy MMA was just actually continued, alright? It's like the most old, disgusting, like, freak show fights, and it brings me back to that old freak show fights days of, like, Pride or whatever, except in Bare Knuckle, and I love it. I love it.
Dude, did you see the weigh-in?
I did see the weigh-in. Cage Side Press, we got the email. We got the press release with all of the weights and the videos.
Oh my god, Silva looks so out of shape, dude. I didn't think it would look like that. I thought he'd look a little bit better.
I thought he'd be on those Brazilian juices, my man.
That's those green drinks, my guy. I guess not.
Gonzaga, didn't Gonzaga look in shape though?
Oh yeah, he looks good.
He looks shredded.
He looks fine. It's not like crazy. He looks good though.
He's good, no, but he's got the gut. You know the gut that I'm talking about.
But he has the build though. Like, he looks fine. He has that V. He has the V coming in.
He's got the V. He looks in way better shape than someone his age should.
Are you trying to say something, Josh?
Nah, man, I'm not.
But
dude,
yeah.
I like for real want to go to like one of these events, but they suck because they're out in the middle of nowhere. They're like in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah, well, there you go. So we'll probably, well, you know, we're in Kansas, so it's not impossible for that to happen here because, you know, arguably, you know, if you go west, there's like nothing over there, dude. So
yeah, and I don't want to break any news, but like, if you guys know what's up, Kansas may be the next state to legalize bare knuckle. I know there's a promotion that's working out of Kansas. That's a pretty small thing. I believe they're called Cardin Combat Sports. I know they're working on a bare knuckle thing. I don't know if that's going to be able to get by the commission because I'm not really sure how strict the Kansas commission is. They're actually not that strict at all, actually, because Invicta's allowed to do one-night tournaments, while not a lot of states allow that, and Kansas does. So
there you go.
Who knows? If they have a bare knuckle thing, I guarantee you, I'm going to that. I don't care if it's Bare Knuckle FC. I don't care if it's nobody's. I want to go.
I don't care if it's in public and it's just two guys fighting in the street.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing.
We'll be there.
But I guess we should give our actual predictions. Angel, who do you got? You got your boy Bigfoot.
Dude, I don't fucking know. After looking at that body type, I don't even know what's gonna happen. God, prior to this, what was Gabriel doing not too long, or how long has been out of his, craft?
Hold on, let me check Gabriel. Okay, here's the funny thing about Gabriel Gonzaga. He said, after his last UFC fight, which I think was against, was it Derek Lewis? I don't remember. It might have been against Derek Lewis. Let's say it was. Let's say Gabriel Gonzaga's last fight was against Derek Lewis in the UFC. He was like, I know he got knocked out, and he was like, bro, I'm only coming out of retirement if somebody pays me $100,000. And then he ended up fighting Fedor Emelianenko's rapist brother in Russia for probably $100,000.
And then lost.
He did. It was brutal. Alexander Emelianenko knocked him out. Alexander Emelianenko, speaking of which, is the most disappointing man ever. Like, that dude has, like, I don't know how he still fights. I'm pretty sure he has HIV. I'm pretty sure.
Just don't lick your gloves. don't pull a BJ Penn and lick your gloves, dude.
He was a rapist who has HIV, and yet he's still fighting. And the worst part is he's really good at it. Like, he's on like a 6-fight winning streak since getting out of prison or something. Like, he's really good at it.
He had a draw. I just looked this up. He had a draw
in
August.
Tony Johnson. That's right.
Yeah, he hasn't fought in over a year now.
So it's disappointing because, like, he's really, really good, but he can't stop raping people, man.
Don't rape guys.
He's like the Bill Cosby of MMA, all right? He's great at his craft. People will pay to see him in Russia, but yet he just can't stop raping people. Damn it, Alexander. But anyways, so Gabriel Gonzaga got knocked out by Alexander Emelianenko. That was a brutal one. And now this is the first fight since then, and this one's in bare knuckle. His first bare knuckle fight. This is Bigfoot Silva's first bare knuckle fight, but he did fight in kickboxing, and in my opinion, is the biggest lopsided fight of all time. If you guys don't know, he signed with Glory for a one-off fight. This is while he was in the midst of his current losing streak, which I believe is at 6 now. 5 or 6, and he's getting knocked out all the time. He decided to face Rico Verhoeven, who is he's not even arguably, in my opinion, he's the greatest heavyweight at the moment in kickboxing. Glory heavyweight champion. The guy is phenomenal.
Isn't he the champ?
Yes, he's the champ.
I was about to say.
He's 55-10. He has not lost since 2015, I believe.
Holy shit.
And in kickboxing, that's a lot, because in kickboxing, it's more like MMA, where, like, at the top level, you're gonna lose. But he's not lost. He beat Badr Hari, and if you guys don't know, Badr Hari is, like, the number 2, you know what I mean? Like, he beat Badr Hari. And they're gonna fight again, actually, I think, later this year, and I'm hyped for that.
Does he have a big fight in, December or some shit? Like, I don't keep up with it. I just happened to be listening to Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, and he was on there as a guest, and they talked about that.
Yeah, he's fighting. Badr Hari is a super controversial figure in kickboxing, and they're gonna have that rematch. The first time around, Rico beat him via an arm injury, and I remember the first round was Rico's, and Badr was coming back in the second. But regardless, that's gonna be dope. I'm really, really excited for that one. But regardless, in the midst of Rico Verhoeven's current winning streak, I believe this is 2 years ago, Antonio Silva, who's Bigfoot, he's been losing all the time. They stuck him in there with the Glory heavyweight champion, and it was legitimately the saddest thing I've ever seen. Because, Bigfoot, he's good, but a lot of his thing is size, and Rico Verhoeven is a monster. And it looked like he was taking it easy on him the first round looked like he was taking it easy on him, because, poor Bigfoot looked like he was moving in quicksand. And, he was so slow. And in the second round, I think he came out, I think it was right at the start of the second round, too, and he threw a spinning heel kick that, knocked him down and ended up knocking him out. And it was, a super cool highlight, but I felt terrible the entire time watching it.
That is brutal.
Yeah, I'm going to take Gonzaga here. I think Bigfoot is super slow now. This is either going to be terrible or super awesome, and I don't know which.
Dude, granted, we'll say this, the way, bare knuckle boxing is different from normal boxing, and obviously it's not kickboxing either, so knees, elbows are out of the equation, and then it's, the way they do their rounds is more offense rather than defense, so it's gonna be an interesting one for sure. I feel like there's no sure answer. Maybe there is, and I just don't know it. Maybe I'm just being ignorant, but it's gonna be something special for sure, like any bare knuckle event.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely different, but I don't know. I just think Bigfoot is too slow. If he wants to win any fight, he's gonna have to use grappling, and this is boxing straight up.
Damn.
Gabriel was not that washed last time I see him, so.
Yeah, and he doesn't look like he's super bodily prepared. Like, he doesn't really give a fuck. I don't know if he does or doesn't. Like, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence either. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go with Gabriel here, dude. I'm not happy with that physique too much. I know there's some health stuff going on with him. I know there's always been health stuff, but I would have liked to see him in at least a little bit better shape. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. He might just be doing it for the payday, which is fine. Obviously he has a wife to support. I know he has a daughter who. Oh, never mind. Oh, that's ridiculous. That sucks. I just saw that there was a trade rewind thing that had like Steven Adams and like whatever. That's bullshit. Screw you, stats now.
He freaked out.
I freaked out, man. I'm like, why the hell are we trading Steven Adams? He's literally he's the only young good player we have left on the team, regardless. We'll get into NBA in a minute. But, yeah, I obviously know that Bigfoot has like a daughter to support who actually just started fighting MMA herself. She's 18. Does not look like Bigfoot's daughter at all, by the way. But yeah, obviously, if he wants to get the payday, good for him. Secure the bag. Secure the bag at all means necessary.
That's what it's about, man. Sometimes that's what it's about.
Yeah, but, so I guess we should move on to NBA. NBA, there's a little bit of stuff here. Obviously we talk about LeBron and the China issue. Zion Williamson being injured for the first couple weeks of the season, and Luol Deng retiring. Where to start? Let's start with Zion. Zion, actually, Angel, I'm gonna let you take this one because I don't actually know what's wrong with Zion. I saw that he's injured. I saw he's gonna be out for a couple weeks.
I think it might be. I saw it too. I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's something minor. It's not going to be that long. He'll be back like early in the season, like
early November.
Yeah, like it's not anything serious. Like he'll be back within the first couple weeks or month or two. It's nothing bad. I think it's nothing with a knee. Nothing serious. I think it happened during practice, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was a knee injury at practice. I'm reading it right now.
Okay, there we go. Managed to remember that somehow. So yeah, nothing too bad. He'll be back.
I do think this, I saw this, like, people were like, this shows the durability concern. And I'm like, dude, it's he got injured in college on a freak issue, and now this is another injury, which obviously sucks. So he's had two serious injuries, but one of them was a freak thing, and the other one happened in preseason. So I'm not going to freak out yet. I would not advise, Pelicans fans to freak out yet. This is still the greatest.
There was something in Summer League too, dude. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm just saying that happens as well.
Yeah, but still, he's still the best prospect in years.
Heavyweight champion. That was scary.
Tyson Fury.
But no, yeah, like that happened, dude. And then quick other thing, dude. I didn't see it all yet. Quick thing I'm going to add here is all the heights came in, like all the true heights for all the NBA players. Yeah. Actually, LeBron ended up being taller than what he was listed at. Zion ended up being shorter than what he was listed at. Same with Anthony Davis. I don't know who that's true with other players, but I'm curious to see like all the true heights. I think Anthony Davis was like something in 7.5, like something ridiculous like that, and then. What I really want to see is like Isaiah Thomas did, like see what the true height is.
Oh, it was I think it was 5'7".
What? Like true 5'7"?
5'7" or 5'8". I know he's not 5'9", and I could tell you that because I'm like 5'9", 5'10", and I'm like, dude, I'm way taller than Isaiah Thomas.
Damn, Isaiah Thomas cooking people out there, bro.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, because I'm 5'10". Like, I measured the other day, actually. I'm 5'10".
Well, there you go.
Whenever I stand up straight, which is very, very rarely, so I might as well not be. But I'm like, dude, anytime I see him, I'm like, there's no way I'm only an inch taller than Isaiah Thomas. And I saw, like, the thing. I don't know if it's official. It's either 5'7" or 5'8". It might be 5'7.5". But he's not 5'9", so I'm glad we could fix that.
Yeah, dude, I just want to bring that up, because Zion ended up being, smaller than he was listed at. And I know that was a concern because this man's coming and weighing in like at 280 or some shit like that, some crazy shit. So the people were not a fan of that, man, because he's weighing a lot. He weighs more than the heaviest center in the league, dude. Like, holy fuck. So yeah, dude, that was a concern for some people when that came out. I just wanted to put that out there quickly. He was way more than Boban, dude. Boban's fucking tall.
Boba.
Yeah.
True. He's tall. He's a big man.
Yeah, he's a very big man. And what else do we have, Josh?
What else do we have? This is something that I personally want to talk about. Because I think it's a complicated thing, and it's LeBron saying what he said about Daryl Morey and the China issue. If you guys don't know, China and Hong Kong are having this really big thing where kind of China's, it originally started out as like an issue of like, oh my god, what was the issue? It had to do with arresting Hong Kong citizens and stuff like that, right? And now they're protesting because they don't feel like they're free and they're kind of under China's control and they have no real support from their government and they feel like they're not free because they're constantly under the watchful eye of China. And there's a lot of issues. It's a really complicated subject. But the one thing that I feel like I can say is that Hong Kong citizens are getting screwed over and it's not right. I feel like anybody with like the Western point of view would personally agree with that. Except for LeBron James. And I understand LeBron's point because he said that like Daryl Morey was uneducated about the subject, and he clarified afterwards. Like he was like, why would you say that with our guys over there? Because it was like while the NBA was over there in China playing preseason games, and like I understand that point, but that's not what LeBron started out with. He started out by saying like he's uneducated and that he should not talk about what he does not know about. And, like, you know, obviously LeBron has a vested interest considering he has, like, help from China companies. Like, he's making Space Jam 2 and all this stuff. And that's fine, but I don't think that, like, you can stick your nose out of this. He did not have to comment on this, but he chose to. And now he's going to be, on the wrong side of history. And I think, like, it's just, LeBron, shut up, man. Just shut up. That's all you have to do. That's all you got to do is shut up. You don't, because...
Are you telling him to shut up and dribble, Josh?
No, he doesn't have to shut up and dribble, but in this situation, I'd keep my nose out of it if you're not going to say something positive. Because, like, what's going on in China and Hong Kong is messed up right now. People are, like, there's protests, and they're getting gassed every single day. People have died over there in Hong Kong because of stuff that the Chinese government is doing. And to say that Daryl Morey is uneducated is a ridiculous argument, considering that he's one of the few that actually spoke up about the issue. And the Chinese government apparently told Adam Silver in the NBA that they wanted Daryl Morey fired for saying his opinion, which is wrong. And to say that, like, he's uneducated, no, he's having an opinion that 99% of the people in the world agree with. And LeBron did not have to say anything. He did not have to say anything. And he clarified afterwards and tried to make it look better than it actually was. But even then, anybody with two eyes could see what he was saying. Like, I get his second argument of, like, you shouldn't say it with our guys over there. But at the same time, what is the NBA doing business with a country like that where we have to be afraid of what a Rockets GM says? So, I don't know. If you guys don't know about me in my personal life, which I don't blame you because I don't really talk about it, I'm a very political guy. I'm kind of in that realm a lot. I, like, pay close attention to, like, news like that. So I know a lot about this stuff. And I would, like, LeBron, man, just shut up right now. It's like, it looks bad. Because whenever you have guys like Max Kellerman trash you on ESPN, whenever you have, like, people bash you on Twitter, because, like, LeBron's a great guy for all intents and purposes. He's done a lot of great things, but he's on the wrong side on this one, in my opinion.
And that's that.
And that's that. I know you don't have an opinion on it because I'm pretty sure you don't know the news that much.
No, I've kept up with some of it. It's come into my world, the world of esports. There was an issue.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With the Hearthstone player. They fired the casters. They took the players' prize money away. They took them out of the league. They've since then reverted some of that stuff, and they gave him a year ban, and now it's a shorter ban. There's a lot of stuff that happened within that. And then Blizzard was getting a lot of hate from that. And then from there they kind of changed all that stuff. And it's not as bad as it used to be. Yeah. Arguably, though, people are still not happy with it. But it was pretty bad because we were like, boycott Blizzard, but I think they'll be back. I think they'll be fine. And that's that, man. Is that it for the basketball news this week?
Next, we want to talk about my man Lou Deng retiring.
Man's retiring officially.
Retired as a Bull.
Retiring as a Bull at that, yeah. Could play with a young team, dude. Not too bad. Be a good vet. Support all the guys. I'm sure that the Bulls team will appreciate it. After 15 NBA seasons, man. He's finally retiring, man. From Sudan. From South Sudan. Just looked this up. Long journey for that guy. Imagined, he never, I don't know. Maybe most guys who were in the NBA imagined themselves there at some point. Maybe he didn't imagine himself there, but finally, after a long 15-year career, 15 years of his life doing the same thing, playing basketball every day, keeping in shape every day, he's finally retiring with the Bulls. Congratulations to him. Nothing too crazy here. Obviously, not maybe the that superstar player, but definitely a guy who helped his team throughout his career. Definitely a good, maybe that role. I'd say, more or less role player that went above and beyond a lot of his career. Like played more than just a role, like stepped it up beyond that. But good for him, man.
Yep, good for him. I think he said it way better than I could. So, yeah, good for him. I always liked using him whenever he was on the Bulls in like 2K. What was it? 13, 2K14. I honestly don't remember. But, anyways, can move to the world of boxing where we have some tragic news and a little bit of following up to do. Patrick Day, obviously fighting. I believe it was October 12th, on the undercard of Usyk and Chaz Witherspoon, the greatest main event of all time. We'll get to that in a minute. But, very tragic story. Very young man, very young guy, 27 years old, taking on Charles Conwell. And I'll be honest with you, I only saw the knockout. I do not know what happened in the lead up. I know he lost his fight before this. I know he was 17-3. And, he's coming off a loss, and it wasn't like a loss that was that soon ago, so you can't even make it like a, repeated concussion thing. That's how a lot of boxers die, is like, they'll fight one day, and then they'll like get knocked out, and then 2 months later they'll come back. Which is kind of why, a little bit worried for Sergey Kovalev. But anyway, so he lost in June, came back in October, got knocked out in the 10th round. And, obviously he had a traumatic brain injury during his knockout, and died 4 days later. Passed away at the age of 27. This is sadly, I believe this is the third death in 3 months for boxing, which is really, really tragic. But, yeah, I mean, that's just the way this brutal sport is sometimes.
It was a brutal knockout, though. Like, I'm not saying it to hype it up or anything. I'm just saying it was a brutal knockout. The man, he hits the canvas.
He's hit it, yeah.
Yeah, he hits the canvas, like, you see he struggled with breathing, and everybody kind of steps back, and it's kind of like, whoa, like, this is not good. Obviously, I imagine no one expected it to be what it turned out to be. I mean, even the crowd reaction, dude, the camera pans over, and people are like, oh, fuck, like, what is going on? Is he fine type of deal? Little did we know that it actually turned out to be something bad. I wonder if his last fight was a war. I don't know. I'm going to have to check that out just out of curiosity. But tragic news. What is that? 3 deaths that were in the media that we're aware of. Who knows if there's been anything maybe at a lower level or overseas that we are unaware of. But definitely not.
Honestly.
Yeah, but definitely not good for boxing. I don't know, man. Hopefully, future-wise, stuff gets figured out to prevent this type of thing. No, we talked about it not too long ago. Don't want to talk about it too much right now. Definitely heartbreaking, man. Hopefully, his family's doing alright, and they get things figured out.
Yeah. I guess in more lighter news, we can talk about Usyk's heavyweight debut. I understand it's kind of hard to move away from like that topic after talking about it, but this was obviously the main event of that card, and Alexander Usyk taking on Chaz Witherspoon, 4-day replacement, I believe. Chaz, 38-year-old Witherspoon, a man I believe somebody updated his Wikipedia page, so that means he's pretty good.
There we go.
That's all you got to do, man. And yeah, somebody updated it. That's awesome. So he was taking on Alexander Usyk. Got the call 4 days before the fight. He ended up making the weight, doing all that stuff, and fight was pretty slow. It's kind of Usyk's thing, though. He's not exactly a guy that goes out and gets first round knockouts. I don't think he has a single first round knockout or any knockout before round 3 in his entire career. But regardless, he went out there and he was breaking down Chaz Witherspoon. And obviously he was a lot more winded. This was not a guy that was in camp or anything. So it wasn't even like he had much of a chance really to begin with when it came to the cardio standpoint. But still, man, it was a pretty dominating performance. I don't think Chaz had any real success. And look, man, he got the win. He did what he had to. And now we got Usyk's first win in the heavyweight division, and that's really, really exciting. I'm not really sure how far he's gonna go from here, man. I don't know where he goes from here. It's a complicated division.
Dude, I know he laughed when he got a couple names thrown out there. I don't know if you saw that. He had a nice little laugh, a nice little chuckle there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude. There's a heavyweight at the top, man. Interesting position overall. We still got some crazy fights. I mean, Tyson and Deontay's already set for next year. Obviously, Andy and Joshua's gonna be at the end of the year, so we know it's not gonna be any of those 4 guys. And then I don't know. I don't think him and Adam Kawanaki are gonna fight. I don't think that's something on the books. But as it stands, dude, he's here. He's ready to fuck shit up.
He's here. That's a good way to put it. He's obviously undefeated, but everybody's tied up. Obviously Tyson Fury is off doing WWE stuff. Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder, those 2 are tied up for November. Future heavyweight champion Logan Paul's fighting in November.
Cruiserweight.
Oh, excuse me. But he's gonna move up. Just watch it happen. Jokes aside, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz fighting out in Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury also out, quote unquote, in quotations, fighting in Saudi Arabia. So everybody's tied up really until the end of the year. There's just, I don't know who's, Kalinowski's a good option. Maybe the winner of Chirosa versus Price. That wouldn't be terrible, I guess. Obviously you'd want a higher ranked guy. I think those guys are both I think they're probably top 20. Now obviously anything is a step up from Chaz Witherspoon. Maybe, who was the guy that Tyson Fury fought next? Maybe we'll get Otto Wallen versus Usyk next.
Dude, Otto, I have respect for that guy.
Same. But jokes aside, I want to see him against a really top tier guy, because it really sucks, because the records will show that Usyk's first fight at heavyweight was against Chaz Witherspoon, and he tried so hard to get a top ranked guy. He tried really, really hard, but it just couldn't happen. Things just kept on happening, and they kept on falling out.
People just don't take steroids. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man, for what it's worth, I saw that his test, after that, came back as negative. So it looked like it was a freak thing.
Okay.
But not saying that it was not on steroids, because he was definitely...
He cycled off, dude. He cycled off.
Oh, most definitely.
He cycled
off. Some
off.
Supplements.
He cycled off. But yeah, sadly, quickly to just get into it, there's not to hate people who are fighting tonight in boxing, because there's people out there in the world who, are going to get in the ring tonight. No hate to them. I'm sure they'll put on a good show, but relevant-wise to what we watch and what we like and what we think is entertaining, there's nothing that we want to talk about boxing-wise this week.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot.
But at the start of this next month, though, sorry to cut you off there, we'll have some stuff. We'll have some stuff.
Oh man, yeah. The next, we talked about it briefly a moment ago, but yeah, obviously there's gonna be a lot of stuff over the next 2 months, month and a half. There is a lot to talk about in the world of boxing.
So yeah, we'll be stacked boxing wise next 2 months, and then NBA is about to start, so we'll be solid there. UFC's having a big card to start next month. And honestly, to close out the year, it's all going to be good UFC-wise. So we'll be good content-wise throughout the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll have some content. I think this is a pretty good episode. We had some content here and there, to put it lightly. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Courtside Soundoff podcast. I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at AngelShaker_01. And Twitter handle for us at Courtside Sound1, at Courtside Soundoff on Instagram, at the Courtside Soundoff on Facebook, Courtside Soundoff on YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff. Yeah, man, our viewership numbers are looking pretty good. They're improving. We're growing as always, and it's awesome to have all you guys alongside for us. Shout out to our sponsors, Amazon and Target. Excellent sponsors as always. At this point, I don't think I need to do the constant reads to let you guys know that, click on the link to the YouTube page to the website link, and you can support us. So thank you, and we're going to be out. So peace and butt grease. Mouse click.